Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charny, Rob, the old guy.
You're listening to the Rob Charny Show.
Yeah, that's me. I got building ahead of James this time. Woohoo, I went up a level.
And James, the Fattman Stevens.
Hello.
So, as tradition, we're going to bring out the dead. These are the folks that we love who have passed that we wanted to highlight and hope you love too. This one for me hurt starting out is Leiji Matsumoto. He created animes like Arcadia of My Youth, Captain Harlock, and Space Battleship Yamato. If you're an anime fan, you know who those are. Barbara Basson, Hill Street Blues star, dies at 83. Nutty Professor star Stella Stevens dies at 84. Richard Belzer, this one hurt. Law & Order SVU star died at 78 years old.
Belzer was great. I mean, I really liked the guy. He was super funny. I had no idea that he actually retired to France. He was in the south of France when he passed away. But, yeah, bummer.
Gerald Fried, Star Trek and Roots composer, dies at 95. Hell of a run. Let's see. Oh, Stella Stevens. Apparently she also did the Poseidon Adventures. I didn't actually realize that. Anna Wersching, Wersching, Star Trek Bosch and 24 actress, dead at 45, way too young.
Yeah.
Huey Piano Smith, New Orleans R&B great and rock pioneer, dies at 89. And one of the greatest sex symbols of all time, Raquel Welch, died at 82.
Raquel Welch. Yeah.
Close enough. And the first story, Jimmy Carter begins receiving hospice care. One of the most controversial presidents of his era, whether you like his politics or not, became a much beloved figure much later in his life, helped building homes for the homeless and the needy.
You know, Jimmy was one of these guys that was just too honest for the position, I think. Too nice, too down to earth. I mean, he had such a hard time making some of the tough decisions, from what I understand. And,
how old is he now?
He's in his 90s, right? 90s.
Yeah. I closed the tab.
I didn't know he was still alive.
He is. He's in his, I think he's in his late 90s.
I didn't know he was still alive. Poor Jimmy. He can't even get any respect even when he's dying.
Unfortunately, the story I had didn't actually say his age.
I never had anything against him. I wasn't even around for most of
No,
his
of course you weren't.
So.
I don't think you were around for any of his presidency.
No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's be honest.
Really, no, I've got nothing against him.
The old guy's voted in every election since Lincoln.
Yeah, just about. Feels like that. Anyway, it does feel like it.
James Earl Carter Jr. That's his actual name. I didn't know that. So he was, see, what is he? January 12th. No, that was office. Where's his bloody birth date? Wikipedia, he's elderly. Why don't you tell me his 1924?
1824.
1924.
Oh, 19.
He's old, damn it.
Aw.
So I'd love to see Jimmy Carter get better, but another American great will be passing away.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get really better.
No,
not at this age.
It
couldn't get worse. He could
it's
just pass away. That's about it. That's all he got.
And I did want to give one more shout out and to a Democratic politician, U.S. Senator Fetterman, checks into hospital for depression and treatment. Serious props to you, man.
But
Can't
no props for his constituents over there in what's Philadelphia,
Pennsylvania,
where he beat out Dr. Oz, and this is a poor guy that's had multiple depression issues as well as other issues such as a stroke, and had a hard time putting words together for a while, and then all of a sudden he gets elected. And I feel for the guy. Don't get me wrong, but it just, I can't believe the voters out there voted for him. This didn't make any sense.
I actually forgot
he was hate mail for that one. That's all right.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
I do though. I think it's awesome. At least he's checking himself in and getting help. It'll be interesting to see.
That's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I think these are all, fantastic stuff for him. It's just, I still marvel at it, but whatever. I hope the best for the guy. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt I may not like his politics, but I hope you get better, and I hope you get back to your seat as soon as possible.
So, John.
Yeah.
Did you hear that Israel found 7 new spider species?
Ooh, 7 new? Well, they were saving up 6 of them, and one came out today. Sorry.
No, what they found is they were digging in the caves underneath Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And they started coming across different spiders. And so they started searching different caves. And the farther down they went, they found new different spiders. A couple of them are partially blind. Some are completely blind.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost certain pigments, and other sensory organs are larger, so they can adapt to the isolated conditions. It's kind of interesting.
The only
They're
good bug is a dead bug.
They just kind of found this to be really...
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. It's like I was watching a show recently about these guys cave diving, and they've come across some, the creatures that are still alive there, but all of them, none of them even have eyes or anything for eyes. They've made up for it in other manners, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So it's not one that I want to go down there. I mean, like, do you really want to go digging in a cave and all of a sudden you find a spider crawling on you? You're like,
no.
A new one? Who takes the time to really study whether or not this spider is new or not?
This is
There are people.
so. This is what,
obviously there are people that love bugs, and we've got to have somebody's got to be.
this is the only way to deal with bugs. That's a fireball effect. If anybody didn't hear it, I hate spiders.
Nobody would have known that.
No, I didn't know that either.
It sounded like somebody passing wind.
You mean it wasn't? All right. Enough childish stuff.
So this is from Vice.com. Japan will no longer have the developed world's lowest age of consent. The age of consent in the Asian country has remained unchanged since it was set in 1907. A panel of Japanese justice ministries on Friday proposed raising the country's age of consent from, hold on to your knickers, ladies and gentlemen, 13, the lowest among developed nations, to the age of 16. The age of consent in Germany is 14, in France is 15, and 16 in the United Kingdom, and most states in the United States. As far as I'm aware, the age of consent is 18 in the United States.
So you know who set these ages, don't you?
Men?
There's no woman on this planet that's going to do that. It's just nuts.
13. Fuck.
Come on.
You say in Germany it was 14?
The age of consent is 14 in Germany. And when was this article actually written? February 20th.
I'm wondering. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I guarantee you, every one of those ages were set by a group of men. Bastards. Swear to God.
So campaigners and survivors of SA have welcomed, that's sexual abuse, ladies and gentlemen, or sexual assault, welcome the proposals. I was 15 when a classmate of mine assaulted me in a party. When told best friends about it immediately afterwards, she told me it wasn't a big deal, etc. Fuck. I mean, I know a number of ladies this has happened to, but 13 for consent. Dear God. I had to read that because I was legitimately surprised. Like, I'm not godsmacked a lot, but that's definitely one.
13, that's crazy.
That's way too young.
Yeah.
So, and we got some stories. I got a Rolling Stones article I wanted to, it's a list.
Oh, yeah. It's so perfect.
This is for you, Melanie. Hopefully this is good. This is the 50 genuinely horrible albums by brilliant artists. So I'm not going to read all 50 unless you want to, but I'm going to start from the top and go 50. Down.
Yeah, you could take up the whole show. Why not? Go.
So Kanye West Yee is number 1. Velvet Underground Squeeze is in 1973. I've never actually heard that album. And number 3 is is Yes, Union. I've heard bad things about that album. Number 4 is Pantera Metal Magic in 1983. Bob Dylan, number 5, and Down in the Grooves. And one more is Black Sabbath's Forbidden in 1995.
I heard something interesting about music and people, most of the time, for the most part, most of your music and what you like and what you're listening to for the rest of your life starts and stops at your teens.
I believe it.
Yeah. That was an interesting statistic. Sorry, I interrupted your list.
No, that brings up a good question.
I listened to a lot of music that I've been listening to since I was really young. Maybe it's because my parents were listening to 50s, 60s music, and that stuff is good music, in my opinion. So,
but if you think about this study, and I have to agree with them. I think for the most part, what I listen to now, and still is a lot of stuff that I listened to in my my late teens, and it still kind of stays with me. And I don't really like newer music, and that's a very interesting thing.
I look for new music, but I haven't found a lot that I like. However, being my age, I listen to everything from when I was in high school, college, to almost the beginning of time type of thing. So I have a wide variety. I just don't like new stuff all that much, which really sucks. I'm always looking for new stuff. I've heard really good things about Greta Van Fleet because they sound like Led Zeppelin. I keep forgetting to listen.
I'll see you're an old guy now.
Number 7, I actually think this should be number 1 on the list, is John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I'm going to leave it there. Just those two together should be at least, within the top 5.
All right. That sounds good. I mean, that definitely needs to be in there. I don't know who wouldn't put that in that list.
Chuck Berry definitely would.
Yeah. Duh.
Wow. Silence.
Why did it get quiet?
I can
got quiet.
I can keep going.
Our internet must have taken a hiccup.
Yeah, it was like you guys are quite loud, where I could hear you easily, and then all of a sudden it just
faded away. Maybe it's your internet. Who knows? That's what happens when you get to do shows over the internet. You never know what the audio is going to be like.
So I've got another story. I can keep going all day long.
No, go for it. Go for it. This is your night.
Oh, Jay, not a thing to wear. This one legitimately pisses me off. Church employees stole nearly $600,000 for gambling. It wasn't Joel Osteen. He's in Texas. An Indiana woman has been sentenced to 2 years in federal prison after stealing nearly $600,000 from church where she worked. According to court documents from 2008 to 2021, Marie Carson illegally transferred approximately $600,000 from business accounts of a Catholic church and related school in Indianapolis to her own personal bank accounts.
Well, did she win? That's my first question.
So she was sentenced to 2 years. But 2 years for stealing $600,000?
It's the Catholic Church.
That's true.
They forgive, right?
They are one of the world's richest businesses. I mean,
I wonder, but that's not lasting, man. Less and less people are going into standing in line for the Pope. Let's just put it that way.
The article that's funny, for more than 13 years, this defendant abused her position of trust to embezzle money from the parishioners intended for church and schools, said Zachary A. Myers, United States Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana. Her greed and desire for lavish vacations. Hey, if you're looking for lavish vacations, you need to get a job with Joel Osteen. Let's see, our criminal law and teachers of her church, thou shalt not steal.
She was just borrowing the money until she pay it back.
I kind of worry about stealing paper clips. How do you steal $600,000 and be like, oh, I'm going on vacation?
Well,
she got away with it for a little bit anyway.
Oh, Carson was able to maintain the scheme by making false entries into a database used by the parish to track payments. Apparently, they don't have auditors.
Well, she got caught somehow, so must have. Maybe not as often, right?
Yeah, just because every business I've ever worked in, they have auditors every year, especially some of the bigger companies I've worked for. They get audited every year because every time you talk to one of the accountants, they're sweating at certain times of the year. Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
John, you like the Hellboy series, right?
I like the one with Ron Perlman. I haven't seen the new one.
Well, yeah, that's what I was kind of going with, not the 20 whatever one.
Yeah, the skinny Hellboy.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's going to have another movie coming out. It got a clearance for it. This one's going to be R-rated.
Who's directing
Completely R-rated. Yeah. It's not Guillermo del Toro, and I don't know if Ron Perlman's going to be in it, but it's called The Crooked Man, Hellboy. The Crooked Man is kind of what it is, and it's supposed to be fully R-rated. And it's supposed to be, this story is kind of supposed to be like a folk horror movie.
Interesting.
So it could be kind of interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I don't know.
I love Gil Toro.
I kind of want to see Perlman back in it because I really liked his Hellboy.
If it's not Ron Perlman, it won't be Guillermo.
Yeah,
It's not
Guillermo.
I love Guillermo's vision for stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ron Perlman basically said he won't do it unless Guillermo's involved.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
I wish him luck.
Yeah.
I heard, honestly, as far as the last Hellboy, I heard nothing but horrible things about it. I've wanted to see it. I just don't have time.
Well, this guy, the guy that's is pitching it and trying to get the movie going, is the guy who did Crank and Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. So I don't know.
Okay, man, those
Yeah.
That's that makes me want to go out and see it even less. Oof.
Well, like I said last week, I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends on who else is with it, but yeah, those aren't really standing up there. But I mean, it's going to be kind of like a horror Hellboy, so that's kind of where I'm like, that could be interesting.
Done right, I hope so. As long as it, I mean, I'm slightly afraid of it going into like a torture porny type of thing.
No, that's all torture porn.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could see it going sideways. I'll if the trailer looks good, I'll see it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in the works. It's supposed to start film next couple months, so let's see where it goes from there.
So talk about actors. Alec Baldwin wins critical battle in Russ court case. DA drops gun enhancement charges for Mr. October himself. The Santa Fe County DA has got to be a little embarrassed today, according to TMZ, dropping a key charge against Alec Baldwin. Now that means even if convicted, he may not spend any time behind bars. But basically, they still may go after him using laws that didn't apply to him. So basically, they're still trying to go after him. But it sounds like he's not going to get in much trouble.
At this point, it kind of sounds like they're just trying to drag him through the mud.
Mm.
And I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree that there should be accountability for this whole tragic situation. There needs to be a lot of different changes in standards for Hollywood with guns, apparently. But to just keep going after him over and over again, trying to drag him through the mud at this point it's ridiculous.
So here's what it means. If the gun enhancement charges stuck, Baldwin was convicted, he'd face a minimum of 5 years in prison. Now that it has been removed, if Baldwin is convicted of involuntary manslaughter, he'd face up to 18 months behind bars, but the judge could give him less or even probation. Considering the way this happens, I still don't blame him. I do blame him for not. I mean, I'd love to think the actor at least would check, especially considering he's using a firearm. And if was it you in the last time we talked about this, or somebody else that talked about how the armor wasn't there that day.
That's what when we talked about this before. That's what we said then. I don't know any different.
Because if the armor wasn't there, then throw the book at him because he didn't do the proper things.
Well, if the armor wasn't there, then they shouldn't even have access to the weapons.
Yeah, this is so.
That's kind of where it should be.
Because that's what I heard recently within the last couple of weeks, and I know we talked about it before. Again, was about the armor wasn't there, and he decided to shoot it to begin with. And then I was thinking, why didn't he use a stunt pistol? They could do everything in post. Most of the stunt pistols look real from video, anyways. Stunt pistols, by the way, if people don't know. Well, stunt pistols are usually like foam rubber. They're stand-ins. They're not capable of firing.
They're cast from the real guns.
Yeah.
They're cast rubber from the real guns. But on close-ups, tights, and all that, they use real guns, just not real ammunition, and that's the problem here.
Well, he wasn't really supposed to be using real ammunition, I don't think, for that scene at all.
No.
So do you guys think this movie's actually ever going to come out, or is it permanently stopped?
Oh, I think
he's still Baldwin's still pushing for it. I mean, he is the producer. Yeah.
Oh,
man,
they're still pushing for it to come out. That as a matter of fact, they claim they're going to start shooting again. So
no pun intended.
Well, all right. But with that said, yes, they're going to start. That's what they claimed, that they're going to start shooting whatever to get it done. But you know what? People would probably more than likely go to see it.
That's somebody trying to find the set of Rust right now. I don't know. I would see it just for curiosity, just to see how good of a movie it really was. Because maybe this sounds really crappy, but if somebody died on a really bad movie, I'm going to feel even worse for the person. But if it was an amazing movie, it's like at least the person was, their career ended on a high note, if that's even a positive. I don't know. What do you think, James? Imagine somebody died in a trauma movie versus like Terminator 2. Which, if your life was going to end on a movie, what do you think it would be better on?
Depends on the trauma movie, for one.
Redneck Zombies.
I don't know. I honestly think that if you're going to sacrifice yourself for your art, go ahead, but I think it has to be worth it to you. I don't know. I personally wouldn't want to be dying on either movie set.
No.
But,
so
yeah.
What would you... There's a new California bill that's being talked about that would require financial literacy class to be taught to graduates. Like they have to take some sort of class on financial literacy before graduating high school. What do you think? Because I took a class like that.
I think it's a smart move. I think it's something that should have been taught more. But, I don't know. I think that to prepare kids for the rest of their lives would be a smarter move than making them take a foreign language when probably 80 to 90% of the kids that get out of high school don't travel outside the United States.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's a good deal. In my day, it was you had to take a type of accounting class. Home economics also had how to balance checkbooks and how to take care of your money and what to spend.
Yeah, but how about you do something with your taxes? How about teaching them that?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't have home ec, but I did take a class that how to balance your checkbook, which I didn't use early in my life. Which after high school I should have. How to plan trips, stuff like that. Everything involving money, taxes, etc. I think
this day and age of everything being online and bank accounts online and all that, I think you need to have some competency with that and to figure out how to make a budget. I think those things, besides your taxes, I think some of those things are the most important things.
I am beginning to think, though, that the negative side of being a digital world is nobody has. I think the actual equating money thing, far as you just see numbers versus having physical bills. I think that's the problem, is you just see ones and zeros instead of the physicality of money. So I think that's another issue, you know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, you know, they keep talking about getting rid of actual money, right? We're talking about cash or coins. There's always the talk about completely getting away from that.
Oh, that's scary. Sorry, I've seen way too many like 80s dystopian movies where cash no longer exists, and all of a sudden you speak out against said person, and now you're broke. It just scares the hell out of me.
Right. Yeah.
Ask the Canadian truckers. That happened to them. Mm-hmm. So let's see. 27 reported. The survey found 27% reported being ready to estimate what their monthly payments might be after college. 46 felt prepared to complete the free application for federal student aid. 32% felt they could read and understand loan officer repayment information. Good God, that seems awfully high. I know adults who have issues with that. I'm one of them. 40% of students understood how to read a paycheck and understand what determines net pay. It's the smaller part.
Basically.
I mean, that's... ooh, look at all this money. Well, what the fuck?
Why are they always the line? Why are they taking so much out of my check? Because they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was the first paycheck you ever earned. That it was the most depressing moment of your life. It's like, yay, I made $120.
Yeah. Feels like that, huh?
Yeah, that's why, you know, I always tell everybody my son's going to get dad tax. Dad, I made all this money. Hold on, I need 10, 20. No, thank you. What's that? Tax.
Oh, it's easy enough to teach your kids what gross from net. It's simple, like you said. Tax the kids. Let's see, it cost you $10 this month for candy. It cost you, just start taking it out. What do you got? What do I got left, Dad? A nickel.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I need that nickel. You got to pay your cell phone bill this month. You can owe me later. This article does talk about that the kids are bombarded with credit card. Get a credit card, get this and that. And I know a ton of people my age, when they first were able to get credit cards, they somehow got ones that had like a high credit limit. Like my first credit card was $200, and I was pissed when they moved it to $1,000. It's like, no, 200 is perfect. I legitimately remember bitching to the old guy. It's like, why would they raise it? Then it's like, I'm going to spend more. And the old guy's, hey, jackass, that's the reason why they raised it. They didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart. It's like they're trying to milk you for money. It's like, those bastards.
Yeah, trying to get you hooked on owing them for the rest of your life, kind of like student loans.
I got to say, it seems like crack dealers are at least more honest.
Well, if we're going to get on student loans, I'll get on my high horse about that, because there's some people still paying their damn student loans 30, 40 years later. I mean, this is ridiculous. But do I believe in student loan forgiveness? I don't. I'm not for that.
So what if there was a type of student loan forgiveness that the government made you do something for, I don't know, say if you're becoming a doctor and you have like $500,000, $600,000 worth of student loans, and the government says, okay, we'll pay all this off, but you've got to do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm. So some form of public service other than the military has been talked about for, well, going back my time, at Vietnam War type of situation. There was a lot of talk about, instead of having to be drafted and go in the military, how about we start some kind of service, whatever it may be, to the country for a couple of years, where you have to either go build a bridge or dig a ditch or work in a hospital or whatever it may be.
Oh, the WPA type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's been battered around for decades now.
So I would be for that. The only problem is my generation and the generations after bought the biggest lie of education is you got to go to college. And there's people who are doing jobs that aren't even remotely close to what their major was. And they're paying off.
The other problem is you have people that were being told that would be much better in the trades.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now everybody's screaming for plumbers, carpenters, electricians, because the people weren't going in the trades. Now they're starting to go back into the trades, which we need. So shout out to Mike Rowe.
Well, yeah, that's one of my favorite things, Mike Rose, because he pointed out at some point that, like everybody, pardon the pun, shits on plumbers, but a good plumber is making a hell of a lot of money, maybe more than some of these white collar jobs. Somebody's sitting in an office behind a desk and a computer. This plumber could be easily pulling $150,000 a year, depending on where they are, or more.
Hey, James, did you get any of that?
I did not get any of that.
I didn't either.
Quite wonderful, actually.
It was, wow.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
basically, to surmise, basically a plumber can make, say $150,000 to $200,000 a year, where a white collar job guy sitting behind a desk is pulling $20 an hour. A trade guy can make more. And talk about, I can't do a transition for these, but these people are amazing. I know a couple of them personally. They're great people, and you're really going to love these people, especially this. Today's show is brought to you by Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. The game where dignity is overrated. Make sure you go to oddassity.com or selected stores. Make sure you use MadTrio, all caps, all one word, for 10% off your final order. Make sure you tell Miss Audacity herself that the MadTrio sent you. Do you want to keep up to date with the maddest of the mad at the MadTrio podcast? Make sure you go to themadtrio.com or check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I think this is the low energy edition of the MadTrio podcast.
Yeah, you're also just totally blaring all over the place.
It's interesting. So Jonathan's recording of it. He actually records it just fine, but for some reason, you and I, James, we tend to hear all this Cyloning, as we've found to call it. Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it sounds amazing on my end, minus anybody listening who can't say that about my voice.
We won't interrupt you anymore. Well, let's let you keep going.
No, don't, please.
Yeah, just keep Cyloning all over the place. It's wonderful.
Yeah, James and I don't need to know what you're saying anyway.
Well, that's...
No, we'll just make it up. We'll just make it up in our own heads.
Whew.
Legend in our own minds.
Wow.
Yes.
So did you know? Did you know that an ingredient in Zantac can give you cancer?
Oh, so that's interesting. It's funny that you bring up Zantac, because I was reading the whole article about the fact for the last 40 years, the companies that the company that makes it, as well as the scientists who discovered it for heartburn, realized that it causes, in the right situation, it causes cancer. And they've known about it for 40 years, and they still kept it on the shelves. How about that?
Like stomach cancer?
Yeah, it has to do with in the stomach, and in the right conditions with the stomach and stomach acid and all that, it literally can fall into a cancerous substance in your body.
So butt cancer.
So, just Glaxo back then had a 10-page report from 1982 somewhere in its files outlining an experiment that found Zantac's active ingredient, can't pronounce it, under certain conditions can form a probable carcinogen called NDMA. Glaxo executives in the UK didn't share this with their American counterparts in the US as they gunned for Food and Drug Administration approval in the early 80s. So they knew about it, but, just like the cigarette companies, they just didn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't surprise me. So, now, John, you just can't pronounce it under certain conditions?
Yeah, I just can't pronounce
that too.
Well, okay. Well, I can't pronounce it sober. Let me, maybe stoned out of my mind or drunk, I might be able to pronounce it, but definitely not.
It was just the kind of way you said it. You're just like, can't pronounce it. And then you're like, under certain conditions.
So I actually skipped the word because it's RANITIDINE.
Okay.
Well, apparently you can't.
I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'm not one of those people that can hear somebody spelling
Yeah.
something and
And
just
come
be
right
like,
up with it.
okay, you know, like I would have sucked at that
Yeah.
if, you know, in the what spelling bees and shit.
I just sent it to you. Let me take a look at it.
Anyway, with that said, I found that disturbing because it makes me wonder how many other drugs out there.
Well, it was
that
it was like baby powder. That Johnson & Johnson
All of
baby
them.
powder, where it found out there's was it formaldehyde? Or no, it's
well, it's the talc.
talcum
talc
powder.
in
It has
baby powder that's
Wait,
yeah.
you can't pronounce ranitidine?
no.
Okay.
Cheeky bastard. What was it? No, it's asbestos. I think it has asbestos in it. And there's a whole, like, it was giving a lot of women, or a certain percentage of women who used it, it was giving them cancer. I think it was uterine cancer, but I wouldn't quote me on that. And so there was a massive lawsuit about
Sounds
that.
right. Yeah.
But I mean, that companies have been doing that for years. Don't forget, in the 1950s, there were cigarette commercials that say, does not cause damage to ear's, throat, nose, or other accessory organs. And I can actually provide you with that audio if you want it.
Well, with smoking, doctors would actually tell you to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They would tell you you're not smoking enough.
Oh,
or
there's
you're smoking the wrong cigarettes.
I actually saw an ad.
You can't have the filters. You need to have non-filters to survive.
I actually saw an ad that says, ladies, are you overweight? Try smoking. Easy, fast. What, you know, basically saying the glories of smoking can help these young ladies lose weight. And it's like, holy shit. That's
Yeah. So I was kind of curious. You guys ever heard of this guy, Jeff Koons?
not off the top
No?
of my head.
Me neither, you know, and I just came across this article and it's like, oh, this artist is known for making sculptures that look like they're balloon animals.
Oh, the glass.
Yeah,
okay.
some lady
Yeah.
knocked a piece of his art over that cost over $42,000.
Did the U.S. try to
Yeah.
shoot it?
Smashed into pieces. Surprise, 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 right?
Yeah.
It's like it's
I'm
glass.
just like, well, why was it sitting out like that? And I've never heard of this guy.
Mhm.
And
Well, I suppose that there's a lot of artists that we never heard of that
yeah, you know,
have a following.
I have a feeling that there's a lot of them too. And I kind of like, is she going to be liable for it?
That's a
Well, if
Maybe
it was an
they'll
accident,
break that one that was just recently put out. That was it Martin Luther King or something? That statue or some crap?
Oh, yeah, the one that
What was
the one that looks like a schwanz from certain angles.
oh yeah,
That is the most unfortunate looking statue ever.
You know, you guys kept talking about it. I had to Google this thing, and I just looked at it, and I remember. So you guys were sitting there talking about it, and I was
Yeah.
scrolling through, and I saw this monstrosity. I'm like, "What the fuck is this thing?" As I'm scrolling through, didn't pay attention to it. Then you guys were talking about it, and I'm like, "Wait, it was that thing? That's what. I still don't know what the hell it's supposed to be."
well, you're not alone apparently.
I thought it was somebody like supposed to be giving a hug or holding hands, but from certain angles, it looks like a body part.
Yeah. It took me a while to see what you guys are talking about, but you know, the body part thing, I was just kind of like, it just looks like garbage to me. It literally does. It looks like the trash. Like somebody just kind of did some stupid shit and just put it out there, and they got paid for that. That's the thing I don't get. I don't get how artists get paid for some of the crap they put out.
Well, the thing that I want to know is usually there's some sort of form of approval. So I'm assuming this was a city project or it was a bunch of donations. Who approved that? Because you would think that you had that small form of that statue that somebody's turning at the side and said, "Hey, Bob, look at this angle. Would you? It looks..."
Well, It totally could have been like the artist who did, the original Little Mermaid cover.
There's no way that this just had to be from somebody not actually paying attention, or some bozo just gave, yeah, this looks right, because it's from certain angles, it's the most unfortunate looking statue to a man who had a great message. Because it really does look like a body part.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's the thing. It's like I see this guy and he makes balloon animal artwork. I guess somebody wants to go out there and buy it. That's great.
Well, the old statement is, the art is in the eye of the beholder. So, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Well, there's people that said the same shit about Picasso when he first started.
They're not wrong.
Can you imagine seeing shit of Picasso and being and people like us at the time looking at it like, what the hell is this shit?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
I still look at Warhol and I think, what the hell is this shit? Who the hell thinks he's great? I can't stand the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But people like him, so that's fine.
I have really no opinion. I've been to the Louvre. I can tell you what I like, but Andy Warhol, I give it or leave it. I wouldn't say no if somebody gave me one.
Oh, I would sell the shit out of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid. I understand that there's idiots out there that like it. That's great. I don't have to like everything.
Oh, yes, you do.
No.
Oh, it's just like music. It's same thing, right? Everybody has an opinion on what they think great music is, or what they like in music, and that's fine.
Wait. Nobody actually likes Yoko Ono, right? There's somebody out there going, oh, I love her music. That cannot exist.
Wait. Yoko Ono makes music?
You guys.
Well, by legal definition, yes.
Like what is it? The throat singing? Like the guttural throat singing stuff?
Not
yeah.
I think. No, I guess that's
I
the
haven't
closest.
listened enough of her stuff to know any of it. Because I can't get past the first supposed note or two.
I can't tell you a single song she's ever done.
There you go.
Whatever she's ever done. I can't say.
But technical definitions, they're songs. By taste, I would say they're not.
All right. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was kind of like I came across that article of this. Oh, I'm like, who is this Jeffrey Koons person? I've never heard of him. And so I looked this stuff up, and I could see why people like it. I couldn't. I don't think I'd buy one. I wouldn't spend that much money on it.
Yeah, well, if you did, and the money meant something to you, because I assume this is like a lot of art that gets sold. People have more money than they know what to do with. You'd wrap it in bubble wrap, and you'd never take it out because you'd be afraid you would break it.
I definitely wouldn't let that lady in my house.
Yeah, well,
see, this is
talk with their hands. That when you talk with your hands, I guess
this is why
knows what you're going to knock over.
This is why people with kids kind of understand. They're smart. They've had enough broken shit. They're like, okay, we need to put this where nobody can get near it. It's people without kids that put this really expensive schmutz on a table and it ends up getting broken because somebody's not paying attention.
Yeah, it was at a art gallery showing, from what I read.
They should have been in a box. It should have been some sort of
been surrounded by plexiglass.
There's got to be an art condom they could stick on it. There's got to be something. Come on.
Or wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah, that's what I said. Wrap her up.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is how slow this news is these days.
It is, I guess.
Crap, I mean, I didn't really find much interesting. I mean, I did see something recently of, that Google's Bing AI is still acting up and people are just kind of, so they're kind of freaking out about that. But we already talked about that. The AI becoming sentient or acting like it is,
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
so WWE is for sale, and allegedly they're asking for $9 billion
There you go, John. There's your opportunity.
for a wrestling company. And apparently Saudi Arabia was interested, and according to the article I read today, they said it's just a tad bit much.
Yeah, even they said
$9
we got stupid money, but that's really
billion dollars.
That's what I
know.
read for reality is all you're getting if anybody's really into wrestling. If you bought WWE, what you're really getting is their television library of a lot of ancient promotions that nobody but me are interested in. I'm not quite sure what else you're going to get because rosters come and go.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I mean, what they're just getting the name basically.
Yeah, and since unfortunately it's publicly traded, you're never going to get really good wrestling anymore. Like wrestling was good. Jim Cornette was in the NWA and Mid-South and these guys, and he talks about like having to defend his life. Now he was a bad guy, and he carried a tennis racket, and he talks about that the only way he got out of got to the back sometimes was hitting people over the head with the racket because that's how much people believed in it. And you'll never get that with wrestling anymore. So I'm not quite sure why anybody would invest $9 billion.
Yeah, you're not getting a $9 billion price tag filled on that. So it's just basically they put it up for sale just to put it up for sale.
So nobody
That's what it
really
sounds like.
Well, nobody really knows. Pretty much Vince McMahon was kicked out for his indiscretions. He came back, basically took over. And so kind of a lot of people who are into wrestling think Vince McMahon says, if I can't be in control of it, nobody can type of thing.
So wait, hold on. Now, is this like legitimate stuff or is this
No, it's legitimate. So
wrestling drama?
No, it's legitimate. Vince McMahon actually owns a massive control of the voting stock. So no matter what you do, you can't kick him out because he could pretty much declare, he could screw the company up, say we want a new board because he controls most of it, like 73% of voting shares. And so he legitimately forced his way back onto the board.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not just for drama ratings.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought. But no, legitimately, he did force his way back onto the board after spending a ridiculous amount of money covering his tracks because his indiscretions. And only in wrestling does the back stuff sound fake.
I know. That's why I'm like, okay, is this now? That's why people, I guess, if you don't watch wrestling, you're not understanding why I'm actually making clarification here because it's legitimately the background bullshit story that they throw in.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's
like they'll do this shit just for fun.
Here's an interesting list from Insider. More than 800 stores closing across the United States in 2023. Here's a full list. Bed Bath & Beyond, 416 stores. Tuesday Morning, 265 stores. The Gap and Banana Republic, up to 74 stores. Party City, 22 stores. Walmart, 7 stores. Big Lots, 7 stores. Macy's, 4 stores. And shopping malls, California, Colorado, and Hawaii, and Maryland as part of its 3-year closing of 125 locations. The Real, 6 stores. JCPenney's,
Real.
2 stores. Amazon has stores. Amazon, unspecified number of stores. So those are the amount of stores that are closing. Does it tell you where Walmart is actually closing stores?
Well, they don't also tell you they're opening up another 200 stores. So what's the difference, right?
So the closing stores include 1 Walmart Supercenter in Lafayette, Louisiana, 7 Walmart neighborhood market stores in Arizona, California, Kansas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and Washington. The neighborhood market stores are actually pretty amazing. There's one near where my friend lives, or at least there used to be. I don't know if it's still there now.
You'd almost think the Walmart would want to keep them open for the write-off.
I know.
You know, I mean, they make so much money.
Yeah, I guess Big Blue is, even they're like, nah, we can't lose. You know what? They're being closed. It's theft. That's got to be it. There's so much theft. They're deciding it's not worth it.
Oh, well, that I can understand. That's stupid crazy what's going on as far as decriminalization of things like, petty theft. It isn't petty if you're the store, especially if you're a small person,
So I used to work at the Big Blue Spark at a period of time. And the amount of theft, the amount of shrink they had when I worked there is insane. It was in the millions. And apparently, like 6 months to a year after I left, it doubled. And so much so, our local store, everything that's worth any money from like baby formula on up is all behind those showcases, those locked cases on shelves.
What I've always wondered about those is that how many sales do they lose because there's not enough employees to get to everybody that wants to get something out of those, everything that's locked up. I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either, but if you really need something, you wait.
I guess, do you really need something that bad?
Not all the time.
I sure
don't.
Probably
right. They probably have lost sales doing that, but it's better than losing a bunch of the product, I guess.
So talk about that. I just reminded, I went into another store and was walking around and all the sexy time personal items. The entire section of that was behind a showcase. And I asked the lady, said, can I ask you a question? Because this lady was stalking, zoning the section. Said, is this really a problem? She's like, more than you would think. That
So are they condoms? Are they what do you mean by sexy time? Because I think lingerie in there too.
It's
so is it?
It's protection and lubricant.
Contraceptives?
Yes, the whole thing.
All right. So condoms and the related items. Okay. All right. Well,
I'm glad that these people are trying not to procreate.
I like that. Me too.
I guess we should stop them.
We got to get back to giving away all those condoms.
I'm like, can we keep them procreating? Otherwise,
Jesus.
All right.
It shocked me though, because it's a whole, I think each section is like 4 feet. So this whole 4-foot section was just like solid, sexy time accessories, and it's locked up. And I asked her, and she asked her, said, so what's the most stolen items? She said, you'd be surprised how many vibrators are stolen. And it just shocked me. It shouldn't be, considering, when I did work for Big Blue, the amount of random stuff that would be stolen. But I don't know. That just shocked me because none of it's really expensive. And what do you think they're doing with it? Do you think they're selling it? Do you think there's a crack dealer going?
Do you need us to explain to you what people do?
No. I just. You know what?
That's great, yes. Jonathan. Boy, did you walk into that one?
Let's do it.
That's never have a talk with them.
I guess not. Not well enough. I can tell from this.
So no, my question is: are they doing it for their crack dealer? They're like, give me a couple of KYs and a Magnum, and I'll give you a rock. Or are they? I'm just kind of curious because it's kind of some random stuff to steal, but like James said, at least they're using for our protection.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought that they ever needed that. They'll lock all that up. But it does kind of make some sense. Is that they're pretty small items. You can open it up and just stick them in your pocket at some point. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's just ridiculous the shit we have to do nowadays.
So,
but I guess this has always been going on. Theft. So.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That James's comment reminded me of a story when I was working for Big Blue, the store that I shall not name. When I worked in the electronics section, what people would do is they would steal stuff, but instead of just leaving instead of taking the whole box, they'd leave the box and then put their used stuff inside, like a pair of headphones that were the These were gross. I've never seen, these were really well used headphones. And then they would do that with shoes and other items. And it's like, why do you have to leave your old stuff in there? You know, like the people who work there can tell you open the package because half the job was putting the stuff back together.
Well, no, you know, I think I was wandering through the one that John worked at one day, and I just see and I was noticing that there was like open cans of soda all over the store.
Yep.
And that's something that just didn't cross my mind that people actually did that until I saw it there. Is they'll just they'll just walk through, grab a can of soda or energy drink or whatever, open it, wander the store drinking it, and then leave the empty can on the aisle or somewhere and walk out of the store and not even.
Oh man, some of the grocery stores that have hot food. Can you guys hear me? So some of the grocery stores that serve, like Walmart and these stores that serve hot food, people to do the same thing. If they don't actually like put a seal on it, or even sometimes they do, people will get it, they'll eat it, and they'll walk out the door. I was at a market that used to be close to my old house, and they had chicken nuggets there, and the kid was eating it, and the kid said, well, I ate a couple, and the mom literally berated the son in front of everybody. Why did you say that? You shouldn't have done that. And the lady had to go back and the cashier went back and asked, so how many nuggets do these people get?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine doing that, because realistically, I don't know if I'd be able to sit down for a week, even as a teenager.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we definitely need parents to make sure that the kids learn what's right and what's wrong. So.
Yeah, I don't know. None of this stuff ever crossed my mind to be acting like that in a store or anything.
Let's be honest, James. It was the fear of parents. I know people who are still quasi afraid of your mom. So that's so that was the one way to assume you would never do anything. As I always tell people. And people tell I'm joking, is if you get arrested, there's at least bars between your parent and you. When you go home, nobody narcs on dad, normally.
Yeah. Wait till your father gets home.
There's who was it? There's a comedian has a great joke about the comedian did something, and he was in jail as a kid. His dad comes over, and the jailer sees the dad, and the jailer goes, "Oh shit, you're in trouble." and the comedian says, you're in trouble when you make a 30-year veteran cop, make a snide remark about how screwed you are.
Yeah, good on them.
And I don't know. It's crazy. Like the theft, in California, where this is currently being recorded, we have I think you can steal up to $900 a day without it being considered a felony. And it's non-stacking too. So it's just, you can steal a hell of a lot of stuff. I know a lot of our local stores around where this is being recorded, they're no longer 24 hours because there wasn't enough people to keep an eye on the doors.
Yeah.
So when I would get off work when I was younger, like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, I'd stop by the grocery store, grab dinner, and now you can't do that.
No. Not anymore. Not these days. And it is kind of just sad, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it other than prosecute these people for all the crimes, but they don't want to do that.
I think it's going to come back. Well, yeah, there's that too. I mean, I think there has to be some kind of consequence for, the so-called thievery situation and in the other issues about overcrowding in prisons, because I got to be honest with you, part of that overcrowding has to do with shutting down prisons. And in California has been one of the biggest factors behind that, because they've shut down numerous prisons, and it's overcrowding now simply because they shut down these prisons, and they need to open up some more of those and start make it a consequence for this.
And in some states, I this is one of the reasons I'm actually for legalizing certain drugs, like marijuana, for example, is because you do that, and then certain, even psilocybin and some of these things to some degree, because that'll lessen it, and then you can penalize the people who sell like hard drugs, who do stuff that's legitimately bad, like even theft. There's got to be a way don't throw them in jail, but maybe make them report to jail every night. I know a number of people who had to do that over the years. Like they got released during the day.
Do that, yeah.
They got released during the day and had to show back at the pen at night. So there's got to be something.
Right. Yeah. I certainly don't have all the answers, but you would think at some point where it's got to be a situation where make people. Stop. Yeah. I mean, you have to be responsible for your actions.
I had a friend. Yeah. I did have a friend who told me that he doesn't believe stealing from people, but he's okay with stealing from businesses because they can write that loss off.
Oh yeah. Every small business owner out there is just going, steal from me. I can afford it.
I was just like, holy shit, dude. That's.
I know. Come on. There's lack of education for you too, huh? Not teaching what things are really about.
But this cat was pretty smart too. So it was just like I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, no, I still don't get it.
Smart in what way? I'm sorry, I don't call that pretty smart.
I guess intelligence has many forms. It was like the professor for Gilligan's Island. He could make a radio out of a bra and a piece of coconut, but couldn't fix a 2-foot hole in a boat. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
this low energy episode is coming to a close. Hold on, let me. I got a new sound effect I want to use. This low energy episode is now coming to a close. I want to thank you all, as always, for listening.
Goodbye.